Hello.
One way that we can look at communication development is by looking at it in different layers, like on a pyramid. This pyramid framework shows us the different levels of communication development and looks very closely at some of the very basic skills that children have to learn, the foundation skills almost. Without these, they won't learn to communicate. Right at the bottom of the pyramid, we need a good, solid foundation. We need an environment where the baby is surrounded by people who are talking to the baby, talking to each other, and the baby has a chance to listen to words, watch people interacting, watch all their facial expressions. They're in what we call a language-rich environment. The next layer on the pyramid looks at the vital building blocks for communication. These are very early non-verbal skills that babies need to develop in order to go on to develop good speech, language and communication skills. Eye contact. Babies learn to give eye contact from a very early age. And as they give eye contact, we look back at them and smile at them and talk to them. This in turn raises the levels of a feel-good hormone in their brain, which gives them pleasure, and this motivates them to give even more eye contact. From eye contact, we also learn to read people's facial expressions. So we learn all that non-verbal communication, which is so important, and we learn what different facial expressions might mean. Eye contact is a very important part of communication development. Attention and listening. Babies need to learn to pay attention and listen in order to be able to learn to communicate. And they learn to listen to sounds around them, and then they start to also alert and listen to human voices and make out the sounds that make up words.
What's that?
From attention and listening, babies develop shared attention. This is when both us and the baby, the child, are looking and playing with the same thing. So for example, when we look at a book with a child, and it's a lift the flap book, an interactive book, so we're both focused on the same activity. Turn taking. For example, just passing a ball or a car back and forth to one another. My turn, your turn. These early non-verbal skills are vital building blocks that children need in order to be able to develop speech, language and communication. Next up on the pyramid, we start to look at the understanding of language. This is when children start to understand single words and very basic instructions. Children usually start to understand the words that they hear more often and the words that they are interested in.
I spy the 3 bears!
With the understanding comes the next layer, which is the expressive language. As children start to understand single words, they start to use these single words. And their vocabulary increases. The number of single words they start to use increases.
What's this?
Tower.
Tower, good boy.
And once they have about 50 to 70 single words, they start to learn to put these words together. Right at the top of the pyramid, we get the speech sounds, and that's the ability to say all the different sounds in your home language to produce good, clear speech. And as their vocabulary develops even further, they start to put more words together, they put longer sentences together, and by the time child is about 5 or 6 years of age, they can use long, complex sentences and can use most adult grammar correctly.
That's not cup, is it egg? We can use this.
It's at the top of the pyramid because though it is a very important part of our communication, we need all the bits at the bottom of the pyramid to be effective communicators.